Since the founding fathers, the love of the land is something buried deep inside of us. It is our heritage, our history, our passion. And we are its greatest stewards. From the smallest blades of grass to the widest of nature's wonders, this is who we are. This is Hayden Outdoors Life on the Land. Life on the Land is brought to you by Hayden Outdoors, the brand that sells the land. Polaris Off-Road, think outside. Winchester Ammunition and Firearms, the American legend. Cool, born in the mountains. Conterra, financing American agriculture. Western Heritage Consulting and Engineering, envision, design, build. And by Greeley Hat Works, we start with better bodies.
I'm Alan Treadwell, and this is Hayden Outdoors Life on the Land. This week we head to an exceptional ranch in Colorado that sits next to national forests and is near world-class skiing. And after that, we head to a local rodeo in West Cliffe, Colorado. Then we'll visit a large farm in South Dakota with incredible wildlife and a beautiful hunting lodge. And finally, we visit a college that specializes in implementing the latest technology in modern farming practices. But let's start in northwest Kansas to get a glimpse at a unique farming operation to see how they bring their harvest from field to table. Today we're in Ruleton, Kansas at 21st Century Bean with longtime Hayden family friend Alan Townsend. And Alan's going to take us through the bean process here and tell us what's going to happen. Alan, what's going on here?
So yeah, this is 21st Century Bean. It's our 22nd year in business.
Wow.
And we're 100% farmer owned. There's 27 producer owners of this company. And this entity here in Ruleton is our small packaging division.
Okay.
And we package 40-some million pounds annually for USDA.
These beans are raised and packaged by the farmers that grow them, and it's incredible how much they can pump out in a short amount of time.
You know, these machines will crank out 7 semi-loads a day, 10,000 of these 2-pound bags an hour. Green split peas coming to a food bank near you.
This is awesome. It's incredible how much is coming out of that machine in just a couple of seconds, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 72-pound bags a minute.
The entire process has really been streamlined from harvest to packaging. Alan, what are we looking at here?
So it's where we're bringing the product into the holding tanks ahead of the packaging machines. A unique system that's very gentle on the product, so it dumps it out, never drops it, short distance onto a belt, into the holding tank, into the package.
So this is the packaging and labeling side of the business.
Sure, yeah, film and what it takes to each item for the government has to have its own packaging. And then if we do retail,
Well, it's incredible. I mean, different sizes, different packages, different logos.
1 pound, 8 pound, 6 pound, 20 pound.
The entire process has been so well thought out. There's even a railroad car just outside the door where they can unload the product and bring it into the holding area. That's a railroad car.
So yeah, we have rail facility right here outside the warehouse. We're able to bring cars up, like these cars have come from Montana.
As with many successful businesses, the process tends to grow, and 21st Century Bean is just like that. They're now packaging rice. You're even doing rice too?
So the pandemic brought us rice. We'd never packaged rice, but there was a huge demand for staple products during the pandemic.
Where'd you get the rice?
Arkansas.
Okay.
Farmers in Arkansas.
One of the products that Alan was most excited about is a new bean that he's growing called the Fremont bean.
So we've stopped out here in one of Alan's bean fields, and I know there's something pretty special about these beans. Alan, can you kind of give us a rundown on what you got going on here?
They're discovered in a cave inhabited by the Fremont people over almost 1,000 years ago in southern Utah.
So let me get this straight. These beans are basically, they've been discovered. Like they were in basically a cache in a cave, and they come across them, and a fellow looked at those beans and he said, I wonder if they'll grow. And he put them in the ground, and they did.
That's the story. Currently there's only about 17,000 pounds in existence.
And you're sitting here with 40 acres. So this is maybe the 40 acres. This is the most of these beans anywhere in the world possible.
Pretty close.
It's incredible. Neat story. It's the ground floor of something brand new. Well, thus far we've been cruising around, kind of focusing and talking about beans, but as with farmers, there's never just one thing going on. Alan's got a big field out here and they're cutting milo, and I think he's gonna give me the keys to this big red machine behind us and let me take her for a spin.
Get after it.
So over the years, I've probably harvested 100,000 acres of wheat in a green machine, but this is my first time in a red machine on a milo field, so we're gonna see what we can do here. Hopefully we don't screw up too bad. The only thing that I didn't ask before I jumped on here was if it had an alarm when the grain tank gets full or not. I can't find a grain tank level how much milo I actually have in the grain tank, so I don't know if I'll know when it starts hitting the top of the cab or if there'll be an alarm.
This portion of Life on the Land is brought to you by Winchester Ammunition, the American legend. Greeley Hatworks has been making and recrafting hats for over 100 years. Since 1909, our high-quality materials and platinum customer service have set us apart from the other hat makers. We call that Hattisfaction. We make more than just cowboy hats. Shop our 970 fashion line or check out any of our many collaborations, including our collaboration with Anna V Outdoors. Hats made specially for life outdoors. Visit our store in Greeley, Colorado, or shop our selections of custom and ready-to-ship hats at GreeleyHatworks.com.
The American farmer. Resilient, tough, dependable. You're no stranger to adversity, hard work, or long hours. Conterra Ag Capital is here to support America's farmers during these challenging times. Whether it's locking in lower fixed rates or adjusting loans to meet today's realities, Conterra is here for you, so you can stay focused on feeding the world. To learn more about our diverse set of lending solutions, visit ConterraAg.com.
This portion of Life on the Land is brought to you by Western Heritage Consulting and Engineering. Envision, design, build.
Now we head to Garfield County, Colorado, to a property agent Lonnie Guston has listed, Sunlight Mountain Ranch.
Sunlight Mountain Ranch is located just minutes from downtown Glenwood Springs, which is ranked as one of America's top destinations and best towns to live in. The Sunlight Mountain ski area is within sight of the property, sitting right in your front yard, giving you what seems like your own private ski resort. Sunlight Mountain Ranch consists of 876 well-diversified acres, which are bordered on 3.5 sides by National Forest, State Wildlife Lands, and BLM lands. The ranch has direct views of Mount Sopris, Bald Mountain, Sunlight Peak, Little Baldy Mountain, and Twin Peaks. 4 Mile Creek traverses the property along with a few year-round springs. Glenwood Springs, Colorado, also known as the Land of Water, is located just minutes from the property where world-famous hot springs meet year-round outdoor adventures, rich Wild West history, and an award-winning dining scene. Aspen, Colorado is 1 hour away from the town of Glenwood Springs, with towns like Carbondale, Basalt, and the entire Roaring Fork Valley right at your doorstep. There are several commercial airports close by in Aspen, Eagle, and Grand Junction, along with numerous airstrips for private jets. The Sunlight Mountain Ranch consists of lush, sub-irrigated meadows surrounded by healthy spruce, fir, and aspen-covered forest. Through the multiple draws, live wild springs filter out of the ground, creating a majestic setting, an excellent feed for the numerous animals that call this ranch home. The ranch is located in Hunting Unit 43 with over-the-counter elk tags, and the ranch will qualify for landowner mule deer vouchers. This is your chance to escape the city life and enjoy what living in Colorado is really about.
Now we're headed to a small town in Colorado to experience a local PRCA rodeo event.
Now making their mark in the world of pro rodeo, top 35 right now.
This is the 74th year for the rodeo, but the first year with the PRCA. It brings in a lot more cowboys. It brings in, you know, a lot more chance for revenue for the town of West Cliffe. It brings in a bigger and better rodeo.
3, 2, 1, go! And they're out of the gates. Oh, we might have a collision.
I'm Connor Ollie, and I'm a bullfighter.
Yeah, and I'm Ryder Rich, and bullfighter as well.
It's no different than a sport, you know, playing football or something. You know, you gotta love it to, you know, to want to do it. So.
I'd almost say there's nothing like it. I mean, having a 15 to 2,000 pound animal run at you gives you a little bit of perspective on what you're doing. You're like, do I really want to do this?
The history of the rodeo really runs deep with the locals, and in the early days, they would do whatever they had to put on a show.
As far as the locals, the ranchers, there's a lot of history. I mean, you could go back for hours and look at the families that started this, you know, and look where we are today, you know, with the jumbotrons, and I believe they used to line their cars and into a circle and turn the headlights on. The hospitality tent that Twyla did, Hayden Outdoors, is the real deal. I mean, they just treating these cowboys, you know, like kings and getting them something to eat. And shows what, you know, cowboys mean to Hayden Outdoors.
So it's the 74th year for our West Cliffe Stampede and the first year for PRCA, so we're pretty excited. It's just kind of a big deal for a small little town like West Cliffe to have athletes of this caliber. I mean, we're very proud to be able to host them, and we're very proud to be able to take care of them in the hospitality tent. We bring them live music and great food and just a place to hang out and chill out and treat them special because they're the cream of the crop.
Texas man says outside. Whoa-ho!
This portion of Life on the Land is brought to you by Greeley Hat Works. We start with better bodies.
Wrap your hands around a Winchester Super X4. It's light on the shoulder and points and swings as smooth as honey butter on a hot biscuit. Most of all, it functions freely when the north wind blows cold. The fastest cycling, most reliable, best patterning auto-loading shotgun ever made. The Winchester Super X4.
Since 1976, Hayden Outdoors Real Estate has grown to over 150 land brokers and agents offering unparalleled real estate services stretching from coast to coast. From cattle ranches and working farms to hunting tracts, recreational properties, and country estates. Visit HaydenOutdoors.com to find your next property. Hayden Outdoors Real Estate, the brand that sells the land. This portion of Life on the Land is brought to you by Polaris Off-Road. Think outside.
That's what happens when thank you, Gerald. Hold. Good. Good. That's what happens when you marry up a Winchester SX3 and a Winchester shell.
Let's head up to South Dakota and tag along with Agent Jeff Garrett as he shows us Cronkite Farms.
I feel very fortunate that I was able to represent Greg when he purchased this farm. We looked at quite a few farms in central South Dakota, and when he saw this one, the search was over.
The habitat here, we were very blessed because the guy and the family who owned the property prior to the Cronkites was a conservationist and really loved to create habitat for birds. He was also a farmer, but he tended to lean towards wanting to create habitat. One of the things that takes many years, and I'll tell you decades, to grow in South Dakota is tree lines. And we were blessed with about 10 or 15 different shelter belt tree lines that were mature, and now they've grown for another 10 years and they're absolutely stunning. Over the last 3 to 5 years, we've taken about 200 acres a year and replanted into grass, primarily a mix of tall wheatgrass and alfalfa. We've probably put in 600 to 800 acres of grass over the last 4 or 5 years.
He has taken productive crop ground and made it into wildlife habitat and nesting areas for the wildlife that's just unbelievable. When you drive through these fields and you see switchgrass that's up to your middle of your door in your pickup. You know, it's just amazing to see in this part of the country. And so he's taken his passion and his love for wildlife and made it into just a first-class operation.
And the other thing that we've had out here over the years is every once in a while you get a year that's very dry. So what we've done is every year we put a couple of dugouts into the property. So everywhere on the property that you go, you're gonna see water that's 5 to 8 feet deep. We wanna make it deep because when it gets hot, it'll evaporate. It's amazing how fast it evaporates. So you wanna keep water in all parts of the property so you keep wildlife in all parts of the property.
Well, with the habitat that Greg has developed here, he doesn't have to put out pen-raised birds. There's wild birds all over the place. This is South Dakota pheasant hunting at its finest right here.
My wife Jane said, I'd really like to build a house. So we decided to build a house over by the pond that we have. It is a 3-bedroom home with a nice office, and we have a gun room and a wine room and all the things that to make life, you know, fun and have some creature comforts at the same time. We created this really, really cool man cave, which everybody loves. I have an 80-inch flat screen TV in here with a fireplace for people to gather, where you don't have to, if you want to have some privacy, I can go back to my house. If people want to have privacy, they can go back to the lodge. But we can all meet at the man cave and have a good time and have a couple of cocktails or whatever you want. We built 3 or 4 freestanding tower blinds on the property. You know, these are the kind of blinds where you can go into and They've got real windows, sliding glass windows. Some of them you can get 3 and 4 people in very comfortably. Put a heater in there, get down to your t-shirts when it's 25 degrees out and blowing, and you can be deer hunting.
For the person that wants to come in here and purchase a place that's turnkey, a lot of times you won't have the type of facilities that he's got here. When you walk inside his home, basically my jaw dropped the first time I saw it. It's just a gorgeous home. It's well put together, nice open floor plan, and it's something that an executive from New York would be comfortable in, or somebody down the road. And this man cave that we're in here today is something that you won't duplicate anywhere.
This portion of Life on the Land is brought to you by Winchester Firearms, the American legend. The Cimarron Valley Ranch boasts over 45,000 acres of land spread along the historic Santa Fe Trail in Colorado and Oklahoma. This ranch runs along 22 miles of the Cimarron River and supports up to 2,000 cows using rotational grazing pasture, turnkey ranching operations, and ample water from the river and ponds to stock tanks and 13 pivot irrigated circles. Excellent hunting for elk, deer, quail, turkey, and more are found in this rare contiguous ranch. Call Dax Hayden for more information or visit HaydenOutdoors.com.
Whether this is your office or your playground, you can always do with a little more time to make the most of every day. Introducing the all-new 2021 Polaris lineup, each engineered to fit more into every minute and equipped with the industry's leading on-demand all-wheel drive system for instant traction, an integrated ride command that keeps an eye on the trail, pitch, and your group, as well as new LEDs that extend the day well into the night, because you get more out of your day when you've got more machine. Polaris. Think outside.
Your work is your ethic. Your handshake is your bond. Your word will outlive you. There's only so much you can leave behind in this life. Make your land your legacy. Landowners nationwide trust Western Heritage with their land enhancement and development. No matter what the project is, Western Heritage will make sure your future is in good hands. Your own. This portion of Life on the Land is brought to you by Comterra, financing American agriculture.
Northwest Tech is located in Goodland, Kansas, a huge area for agricultural production. And the kids that go to school there get first-hand experience on using some of the newest technology to help produce more yield in the field.
We're at Northwest Tech Precision Ag program with Brad Bergsma, and he's going to take us through their program and show us what these kids are learning and what they're doing to help advance farming in Northwest Kansas. I think the most important part from what you're telling me earlier is this: you're very hands-on.
Very hands-on.
They get a chance to get out there and get their fingers dirty and do it.
Yep, it's not just sitting in front of a computer. We'll learn to weld and manufacture stuff. I mean, it's still farming, and you're not gonna not get dirty out on the farm.
So now we're going to head over into the drone room and actually see these drones these guys are using and find out how they're using them to advance farming.
So this is our DJI Agris. Yeah, it's currently set up with a liquid sprayer. It's also got a dry spreader attachment. So we see this type of technology fitting in to if you have that small insect or pest infestation, rather than spraying a whole field. You talk about overlap into the cattle side of agriculture, spraying for flies or whatever that you need to do.
One of the things they were very excited about and wanted to show us was their ability to use drones to really help produce yields higher in the field, because they can put those drones up and fly them over the fields once the crops get too big, and they can check to see if there's a problem with irrigation, or they can check to see if they have a spot in the field that's not producing like it should. They're really utilizing drone technology to get that aerial view of their crops to see if they can help make that yield go up.
So what you got going on there besides a racing mower?
Pushing machine.
The pushing machine. I seen the snowplow. You raise that up. You have that hooked up on hydraulics. You know, the neat thing about this program that they have here is these kids are learning state-of-the-art technology to be able to, in the end game, put more money in the farmer's pocket. But obviously, get a bunch of 18, 19-year-old kids together, they're going to find a fun project to do. So some of the projects you do out here, I see this old 6400 right here behind me, and I see a guidance system on top of it. So you're putting auto steer and auto track on an old 6400.
It was really eye-opening to see all the focus put on being efficient and what these kids are learning to be able to take these technologies and help farmers become more efficient, to find inefficiencies, to become more successful, and at the end of the day, put more money in their pocket.
For more information on any of our great properties for sale, please call 866-741-8323 or visit us online at HaydenOutdoors.com.